With a 4-3 record in year 7, I'm not ready to say our Steelers are all the way back or that this is going to be a playoff team this year. But I do like a lot of what I'm seeing from the team so far. We're over 6 years in. We've never won a playoff game. We've only made it to the postseason one time. And then quarterback instability has been the story of the last couple years. I am prepared to move on from that, I think. Marquise McLeod is playing at a really high level, and he has put together a couple game-winning drives in recent weeks to give us a 3-game win streak, something that has been very hard to come by in recent years. He keeps this up, he is going to get a contract offer. So with that being said, this team has a top 10 running game, a top 10 pass game, and is top 10 in scoring, and now has a 3-game win streak. It's time to talk more about the defense, because there is more than one phase to a football team. With 24.4 points per game allowed and the last ranked pass defense, we have to see some growth on that side of the football. And that process has been kind of ongoing, and last offseason I drafted Calvin Hitchens number 3 in the NFL draft. Now, we now know that his development is star, so when you take a player early, you're hoping for a little bit more, but can he get production that can take him to that superstar tier? We'll see. He has 1 pick so far in his first career game. Calvin Hitchens did have a couple rough moments last episode, notably on a contested pass in a game where I really thought we should have won against the Ravens, but their big receivers managed to give us fits that we weren't prepared for. I'd say the secondary is one of the weaker position groups on the team, and I say that even with 2 players with superstar development and the number 3 overall pick in the draft. I don't want to call it a bad unit, but it certainly hasn't all come together yet. This year's defense is so far number 1 in recording sacks with 30 in 7 games, over 4 per week. We've also taken the ball away 7 times. The big issue is just all the passing yards we're giving up and the overall points. And I bring all this up because I think this area of the team has to get better if we're to see this team make it back to the postseason. Because look how competitive our division is this year. The Ravens are 6-1, the Bengals are 5-2, and so are the Cleveland Browns. We're a 4th place team with a 4-3 record. The rest of the 4th place teams in the conference have 1 victory. That's just the way it goes sometimes. I mean, sometimes you'll be in a great division, sometimes you're in a weak one. The bar's high. So I want to focus on what this team can control. And I think just seeing the offense play the way it has given us a standard that we can play to. And if we keep this up where we're good late in games, we continue to put 24 plus points per game up, then we're going to have a chance to win a lot of these games. The defense will have a part to play, and I'm hoping as we face some of these teams where the Jets don't scare you with their offense, we need to play well. Because I also look at our schedule and I see okay, Minnesota put up big numbers against us. The Bengals were able to move the football really well. Well, you've already played the Bengals twice. We're not going to see Justin Jefferson again this year. So don't let a bridge quarterback in Damone Burks make things any worse. This should be a game for us to get the defense feeling pretty good. Burks, more of an efficient underneath passer, good on the move, lower throw power. And I think a pretty good matchup for our secondary. I think this is on paper pretty even. And maybe the rain will slow things down a bit as we take on the Jets. 3 straight wins for Pittsburgh, looking for our best win streak in years. And 1 more victory equals what we put up a season ago. It's been a huge leap, but we're not done. Jack Sawyer just had a penalty against us, gave us a nice boost on the opening drive, and the Steelers will start the day, after a sack of McLeod, getting a field goal. And that's right, we're starting with the defense now. Facing Damone Burks and this Jet offense. And they'll start with a run and nowhere to go. Josh Phelps. He's replaced today by Jalen Phillips, who makes that initial tackle. So Phillips has been a little banged up lately, but pretty good to go in this one. On a screen pass now, the tackle's made at the 36. So can we start to get off the field on these third downs? Not give them a chance to go on these long possessions. They're going to move Garrett Wilson here to the very top. And Burke's throw is dropped. We didn't do much. 3-and-out Jets. Breece Hall still the running back here in New York. 2 tight ends as they will drop back. And Burks, that was a weird throw. That looked even more than sidearm, like almost submarined out there. I got to see him throw the ball again. And they'll get a first down here on the Burks sneak. He might have the weirdest throwing motion here in the game. And now they're keeping it from us. He's racing away from Barber, wrapped up by Hitchens. Jets on third down. Burks underneath. What? He slipped? The Jets are busy being the Jets right now. I'm sorry. The offense isn't exactly lighting things up early. We'll check on them. But continuing to spotlight the defense today. The Jets have kind of stumbled over themselves on third down. But how about Breece Hall into the secondary? A great run with a lineman down. Calvin Hitchens here with Garrett Wilson on the bottom. And Burks is going to loft it deep to the end zone. And it's almost caught off the rebound. And why was Barber down there? What was Roderick Barber doing in the end zone? Bo Hayes broke the pass up. Swung out now. And Breece Hall. Was it really worth breaking the tackle? I don't think so. Third down and 15. Another screen to the outside. Breece Hall. Very close. And the Jets will wind up in field goal range. They get the kick away. And it is good. Tying things up. Antoine Westbrook takes us down to the 1. The Steelers run in the score with Sean Mickens. New York rallies for a field goal, so a 4-point game. And we jump ahead to the offense now in the third quarter. McLeod gives, and there is nothing there at all for Mickens, who has been held 2 yards a carry. Good protection here, and now stepping into it, McLeod rips one, incomplete for Guerrero. Attacking Sauce Gardner. Got to get to the 33. This one's going deep again. Riddick is overthrown. Oh, Calvin Hitchens receiving the stiff arm from Breece Hall, who takes it all the way beyond the 40. Yeah, I don't think this is the best tackling defense, especially in the secondary. It's a weakness of Zach Anderson. Nick Burnell misses too many, and now a great pass across the middle. And that is with Jalen Phillips dropping into coverage. So a couple times we have seen, like, why was Barber in the end zone on a play earlier in the game? Here's a keeper. Burks gets a block as they cut Anderson down at the 40. But the Jets have just one third down conversion. Third down and 6. Burks heading to the air, downfield, in double coverage. It's pulled down by Garrett Wilson. You got him bracketed out there with Hitchens and Zach Anderson. You hope someone can make the play. But even they can't stop a superstar receiver. I changed our cornerback matchups to go by overall. So you got Hayes now on Garrett Wilson. And a pass here that goes for next to nothing. So hopefully we see Hitchens get the easier matchup now, regardless of which side he lines up. Here's Burks extending, and Phillips giving him some trouble. Jalen Phillips has been making plays today, really standing out to me. I just don't like how close this game is staying. You know, I don't want to be playing with a team that's playing offense like this. Jack Sawyer gets a sack on his former team, 10-9. Calvin Hitchens just broke up a pass here as we sim ahead closer to the fourth quarter. This is the drive that can get you the victory. You're already up by 1. You're at home. The defense is playing well. Just give yourself an 8-point lead. See where that gets you. Third down, Marquise McLeod dumps it. They leave Martinez alone. Inside give with room, it's Mickens. He glides into the end zone for his second score of the day. Down below on the ticker, we have the Bengals currently in control against Cleveland 21-10, so at least someone's probably losing that game. Sacked on third down by Andrew McElroy. Pittsburgh in a really good spot here late. The Jets are going to call a timeout here on a 3rd and 5, trying to get the ball back down by 8. Pittsburgh with 3:14 to go in the game. And it's Marquise McLeod standing in and firing out to Guerrero. Beautifully done. Here's a big hole opening up, and Sean Mickens, he gets 6. Even when he starts slow, he manages to salvage the day, eventually breaking off one of those runs, getting better as the game goes on. He's going to head outside now, and that is trouble. Jack Sawyer having himself a big day. A first down here, unless it goes out of bounds, ends the game. 3rd down and 5. McLeod to clinch it. He's a yard shy and stop the clock too. And the Jets will have it. So it's been about Marquise McLeod winning us these last 2 games. Now it's the defense's turn. I think like every drive I need to make those coaching adjustments because now Hayes isn't over the top of Garrett Wilson at all. So let me back out and yeah, it says balanced. Burks gives to Hall. Wrapped up on the play by McElroy. Jets losing valuable time there, running out of a 2 tight end package. Burks now setting up a screen. Here's Hall making a man miss. He gets the first, shakes another one. Come on, why is Miles Hackett in the game? He juked out Hitchens again, but why was Hackett out there? Why are they still running Breece Hall? I mean, sure, it's working somewhat, and now you're at least going with tempo. But a bizarre 2-minute drill. Jets heading to the air now, and Burks hits a receiver in the middle. Kind of just realized the Jets have the same record as us, 4-3. And now 56 ticks left to go. Breece Hall trying to catch his breath as Burks is able to get it away. Deep to the end zone, broken up with Hayes guarding Garrett Wilson. Calvin Hitchens is just not ready to cover those number 1 receivers yet. That is Hayes' responsibility here. And I'll have to make sure that it stays this way. This is another screen being set up too with some blockers. Not a bad design. 3rd and 3. Got it out. Nice hit in the open field by Anderson, forcing 4th down. And for the Jets, the game is on the line. They're set with 20 seconds left to go. Burks, he throws, dumps it complete. Still some hope, but they're running out of time. Got to get up and maybe clock it here. Do they spike it ever? Yeah. They're in position. Everybody's set. And you'll get 1 Hail Mary. Shouldn't have an issue giving a receiver a chance. It's only a 32-yard throw. Lofted up. The game is over as the Steelers bat it down. 17-9. Good day for the defense. They didn't allow a touchdown. Made a couple big plays there with Hayes. And we're going to walk out of here with our 4th consecutive win going into the trade deadline. You gotta have that guy that gives you a chance against the best receivers in the game. And hopefully one day Calvin Hitchens is that guy. But right now, that is Bo Hayes. And now he helps close things out. And you want to show that you can win in different ways. When you don't get the 20-plus points, what are your chances? We didn't do a lot of great things offensively, but also avoided mistakes. Ran in a couple touchdowns. We scored on a red zone trip. touchdown, not a field goal. So we do just enough. And we only allowed 180 passing yards today. Not a very threatening passing game. They throw a lot of screens. And outside of Garrett Wilson, there isn't a ton there at receiver. Here's an upgrade for wide receiver Nick Martinez, who's done well in his role this season. Pretty sure he's still leading us in receiving, too. Joey Riddick had the big plays last episode, but Martinez has played a pretty important role for us. I think there's a lot of overlap with his skill set and like Jalen McMillan earlier in this series. Just a good slot receiver. We haven't done a recap in a while. What else happened here this week? The AFC has a lot of heavyweight teams that played head-to-head this week, as a matter of fact. Of course, we have Sean Mickens, who keeps making the most of the lanes he's given, finds a way to create those big plays consistently. But we know Cincinnati took on Cleveland this week. The Bengals had a 2-score lead in the second half, and Joe Burrow, that's a bad man right there, and that is going to be a broken tackle. Make it 2. 31-28, Bengals stay hot, 6-2 on the year. We also had the Chiefs and Ravens play this week, and the Ravens come out on top 15-13. Just low-scoring games across the board here. Detroit and Green Bay played a high-scoring game, 42-35. Ton of offense, over 800 combined yards, and Jackson Dart helps get it done. Now, Detroit is without their main starter, Josh Wright, so we'll see how they perform now with Jackson Dart as their replacement starter. Pretty good showing here against the Packers. And for your New Orleans Saints update, holy cow, Joe Book, how have you already thrown 15 interceptions? We're talking about a guy who had 18 in his first 2 years starting, and now he just can't stop giving the ball away. He has an interception in every game he's played this year and 4 multi-pick games. Joe Book's having a really bad season. New Orleans is 3-5, but they have won their last 2 games. I still think there's a chance they end up playing Tyron Ridley at some point. He's only a few overall less. And really, he's truly an 80 overall. And Joe Book, they just view as a bridge quarterback. Yet he's still starting. It's a long bridge. Storylines in the zone. Let's talk about a goal for one of our top players this year. Hey, Sean, thanks for stopping by. Sean Mickens, who was the NFL's leading rusher going into our first game today. Let's talk about what he could do this year. I think 1,400 yards is on the table. What part of my game we're going to be focusing on? Let's go with rushing yards or touchdowns. He has a chance to win the rushing title this season. Let's go with rushing yards. 1,600 is the goal. That's not too unrealistic. It's under 100 per game, just barely. And right now he's on pace for a little bit less. Striving for a little bit more than he's doing right now, as Ashton Genty has overtaken him for the rushing title lead. We'll see if Mickens can make a bit of a comeback. But being that it's week 9, we do have to talk about the trade deadline and if anything makes sense. I think, again, it'd be awesome if they could change up some of the trade logic in here. So, like, veterans in season are more easily obtainable, especially on bad teams. Because I'd love to go and add... I looked into Patrick Surtain on a bad Broncos team with, 1 more year on his contract, and a first-round pick gets you, not even halfway there. So it's not a discussion at that point. I'm not giving up much more than a first-round pick to add a 30-plus-year-old cornerback. Here it is. Not even halfway. Yeah, these trades are just hard to pull off unless you can find the right players to send to a team. We're just not getting anywhere. Nelson Wheeler, player I'm interested in. 83 overall star dev corner, who I think could be a problem in the slot with that elite zone coverage ability. But we have found a way to make a small move, and we are going to be adding Chad Baskett, a safety, and we're going to be sending them Warren Miles, a right guard we took 2 years ago in the 3rd round. We swap a 4th round pick for a 5th, Have to throw in a future 7th we'll look to recoup at some point. I think we have our ideal backup guard now in Matt McConnell, but what we didn't have was some depth at safety. So Zach Anderson's been starting. Miles Hackett's been on the roster. With Chad Baskett, he might actually just be an overall better player than Zach Anderson. He's not as proficient in coverage, though. So it's like he's a little bit more well-rounded, better against the run, but at least we have some depth there. And he's still under contract for next year as well. So we'll give him a zone upgrade. Chad Baskett reaches 80 overall, +1 zone coverage. In his career, Baskett has no interceptions, but he's gotten playing time in a few different years with the Dolphins and is a former 3rd-round pick. Compared to Anderson, he does have lower awareness and lower zone coverage, so there's not like a replacement there imminent, but it does give us insurance at a spot where we didn't have any depth. Both Nick Burnell and Zach Anderson are free agents at the end of the year, so adding a safety right now feels like a pretty good move for us. Here was the last contract I offered to linebacker Manu Andrade, and he turned it down. What if we get closer to $44 million for one of the best coverage linebackers in the game? And Andrade has signed on. We got him back. I was willing to go up to a point. Like, I don't have unlimited money to deal with now in this series. The cap does get tougher to manage as we continue on. But now we make sure we have a good nucleus there on defense where you've got Roderick Barber now under contract, Manu Andrade. The 3rd pick was just spent on a corner. So I think that keeps things hopeful at some core spots. That's going to be all of our deadline action this year. I feel good about the team overall, and it's time to focus on a matchup against Seattle and their number 28 passing game. Kenneth Walker, Jackson Smith-Njigba, still some great players in this offense. And the quarterback is Jack Holloway, and he has been for a long time in this series. Seems to protect the football pretty well. Seattle just had a little 4-game winning streak that was snapped. But for some reason, this team isn't throwing the ball with a lot of proficiency. Can Pittsburgh keep this train rolling? 4 straight victories, finding new ways to win. We take on Seattle. They are 4-3 on the year. Well, that helps. 70-yard touchdown to Nick Martinez, the team's leading receiver. Jack Holloway with that lime green sleeve throwing underneath. This is very close to a 1st down. Oh, they just have a false start before a sneak? That's bad. It ain't a sneak anymore. 3rd down and 5. Holloway spreads the defense out and throws outside. They beat Anderson. It's a big catch and run to the 38. Heading outside, and here's Kenneth Walker. Pass Burnell, flying to the 20, out of bounds. It's a play action now. They dump it outside. They do have a young star receiver here I'm not too familiar with, but he looks pretty fast. Trying to keep them out of the end zone here. Holloway, quick throw, better coverage that time out of Anderson. Heavy pressure on 3rd down, swung out. Walker's run down by Andrade. I think I've made quite a few trades in this series, and this is one of my best. Adding Manu Andrade a couple years ago, watching him develop into one of the better coverage linebackers, and he does a lot more than just show off skill in coverage. Moving ahead, Seattle ball, but 3rd and 10 at their own 6. A chance for us to set up the offense nicely. Holloway, trouble! Did he get out? Safety! 2 points on the board. Jalen Phillips, this game in last, looks like a complete game wrecker. Good return, Martinez, out across the 40. He's played a pretty big role for us. Sean Mickens, meanwhile, trying to climb back into the 1st spot in rushing yards this season. Let's check in with the Steelers offense. Play action. Martinez again breaks the tackle, won't go down. It's Mickens now, and he finds a first down lane to the 47. Felix Morant checks into the game, and McLeod over the middle for Westbrook. Inside give. How about Michael Mayer on a handoff? That worked incredibly well. Deep drop for McLeod. Gets the pass away, and a catch and run for Westbrook. Diving inside the 10. Why'd they mark that at the 11? I guess the knee was down. Martinez is slot left. And McLeod, he lost it. And the Steelers fall on it. If there's one thing McLeod's done poorly this year, it's just hold on to the ball on some of these hits. But he's not getting hit nearly as much. Again, deep drop. Gets it away. They were all over him again. 3 defenders in his face. Seattle trying to keep us out of the end zone as it's put up there. And nearly picked as Guerrero had a good chance. Sacked by Manu Andrade. He does it all for this defense. And the offense just capped off a possession. We got a Martinez touchdown, his second to the game. 19-3. Off the fake, Holloway. He's met! Jalen Phillips wraps him up again. Hard to take him off the field. Jalen Phillips playing extremely well. Holloway's picked! Intercepted! What a day for Manu Andrade! We have seen him in every aspect of the defense. And the Steelers take over again thanks to one of our secret superstars. You can demoralize this team before halftime. Already up 16. Westbrook on the catch has 9. It's outside. Again going to Westbrook. Taking McLeod over 200 yards passing. 4-man rush. McLeod on target again for Martinez. 37 on the clock. Got it away. Westbrook again. Just feels like it's him and Martinez working this pass game on a regular basis. I can't believe how little we've seen of Joey Riddick to this point. Here's McLeod, and there is Joey Riddick. It's like they hear you sometimes. All right, now hear me when I say this. Don't screw it up. 13 seconds, no timeouts. McLeod to the air. He gets it away, floating out the end zone. It does seem in these situations they tend to play things pretty safe. And now McLeod. Yeah, J.J. McCarthy did that against the Packers when Micah Parsons was giving him pressure. Same exact throw over Aaron Jones' head. Field goal time, and we've made this a 22-3 first half. Manu Andrade sacks Holloway. This is a legendary game. If he's not Defensive Player of the Week, then cancel the award. It means nothing. Because no one's having a better week than him right now. Hey, it's Alex Highsmith. So we've been sacked by former Steelers a few times today. Pittsburgh's on a tear here. It's Antoine Westbrook. Now 29-3. What did we do this time? We just scored on a 53-yard Sean Mickens touchdown. We have not seen a butt kicking like this in a very long time. I didn't quite realize that Eric Goodman has come off the injury report now. He missed like 2 months, and he's going to have a chance now to finish out this game as we're going to put in a bunch of backups. Jack Holloway under pressure. He goes down. That's Andrew McElroy. We got guys like Chad Baskett, the newcomer, in the game. Always love having the chance to get these guys on the field. Let's see them shut down this offense on 3rd and 9. Holloway across the middle and wide open. And that was against Calvin Hitchens. He just needs as many snaps as he can get. He already missed some this season. Holloway under pressure. He sails it open. JSN inside the 1. Looks like he was covered by Quincy Boston, and by covered, I mean he was wide open. 36-3, Seattle will get the touchdown at last against our second unit. This is also a good chance for us to get Evan Lynch some carries and switch up our running game. And we're going to give it to Lynch to start this game, wearing the number 24 because his favorite player was Marshawn Lynch. He was a Seahawks fan, let's say, because of Marshawn Lynch. Or maybe he was a Bills fan. Who knows? Fake to Lynch on third down. Justin Amaro. Gotta have a little more awareness than that, or you're going to hurt yourself. No issue scoring a second touchdown against our second team defense. Amaro gives to Lynch. He gets 4. Still haven't seen much from him in games that count. I expected him to kind of hit the ground running, starting as high of an overall as he did. This is another tight end draw or dive with Michael Mayer at fullback. That play's kind of nasty. And probably one last play here. Make it count, Lynch. And he will get 2 more. And that's going to be our ball game today. A 5th consecutive win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is it safe to say this is a good football team now? That's 5 straight victories. Phenomenal performance again, top to bottom. One of our most complete games. Mike McDonald's defense was not the best on the field today. 3 scores for McLeod, 293 yards. Sean Mickens goes for 106. And Nick Martinez, 11 catches, a $169, 2 touchdowns. He was one of the highlight players of the day, but Manu Andrade, 2 sacks, an interception, and 5 tackles. Show me a defensive highlight on the recap. It's always the offense getting the love. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about here, but it's actually McElroy getting the sack of Holloway, 36-17. Ravens and Colts, we're talking heavyweight battle here. 7-1 Baltimore on the road. And that's Jalen Hurts handing off. Jonathan Taylor still getting it done. 23-20. Jalen Hurts was 9 of 19 passing, and they still won the game. And we're glad they did. NFC matchup this time, Atlanta and Tampa, with Joe Book having a down year. Holy cow. That's the best pass I've ever seen from Michael Penix. 52-21. 407 yards. I didn't know they were doing that. And that's what I'm talking about. The defensive player of the week is Manu Andrade, one of my favorite players on this defense. And although I drafted a superstar X Factor in Chris Leonard, I still don't know about him being on this team long term, getting him signed and allocating that much money to linebacker. But I knew that I wanted Andrade to stick around. You do not let that level of coverage talent walk out the door. We've seen him be a reliable tackler, hunt down ball carriers, and be one of the most dangerous defenders on the field. It's only the 4th year of his career, and it's on its way to being his best. He has 5.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 61 tackles, and he's going to be on this team for years to come. For us to keep Leonard around long term, and he's under contract next year under the 5th year option, I think we're going to have to feel good about other positions where we have, less cap dedicated to spots, maybe like corner. But I also think that this is kind of getting ahead of myself here, but if we wanted to try trading for something that we have not been able to get on this team, a difference maker at a position, Chris Leonard as a centerpiece would not be a bad deal. That would have to come in the next offseason. The Steelers are rolling. They now jump up above the Cleveland Browns, who have stumbled the last couple weeks and are tied with Cincinnati, still for second place in the AFC North. Upgrading rookie right guard Matt McConnell all into run block finesse. Still a ways away from knowing his development traits, but here are his ratings. Pretty darn good for a backup guard. Not many teams have a guard this good sitting on their bench. Josh Phelps, meanwhile, still don't know his development trait, and with Jalen Phillips playing the way he is, you can't really take that guy off the field. Phelps' power rush upgrade gives him a +3. Arizona is next on the schedule, and we're going to face now our best passing offense this episode, and one of the best receivers in the game in Marco Rodriguez. This guy has looked good pretty much every time we've ever faced him, and that includes a preseason game. Keyshawn Boyd's a great quarterback, so we have played the way we're supposed to against weaker, on-paper passing offenses today. This ain't one of those. Marco Rodriguez is coming for this secondary if they ain't ready. Primetime football against the Arizona Cardinals, a Super Bowl rematch. Of course, these two teams met, in series now. We're approaching like the 30-year mark. I've never seen their intro. We don't come here very often. Keyshawn Boyd leads them out. Arizona looking for a big victory to get them to 6-4. While the Steelers, for the first time in ages, finally look like a team you might have to fear a little bit. And you've got the Mike Tomlin factor here, facing our old head coach. 7 years later, we finally have a team that I think is looking like one of the best we've had in this series. I'm not sure that's a stretch. We've made the postseason once, but I certainly feel better about things here 9 games into the year. Getting underway with the offense, and a run from Sean Mickens. He shrugs off first contact, and he's got 6. Guerrero in motion. Another run to Mickens, bouncing off and getting about 8 this time. A 4-man rush. McLeod over the middle to Justin Guerrero. I thought this season could be his big breakout, but that's belonged to Nick Martinez. I'm actually thinking Martinez has a pretty good chance to work up to star dev this year. And speak of, he's got this one, fighting ahead, getting about 8. To the right side, open field here for Mickens, making it look easy. Felix Morant in the game, so is Nick Watson. And there is Watson's grab, and he turns it up. Ran away, spun it outside. Look at those auto subs giving us Morant on for one play, Watson on for one play, and now we're back to the offense at full strength again, caught by Joey Riddick. What an opening drive, guys. Is this the Michael Mayer play we've seen a couple times today? Not this time. Mickens picks up pressure. Touchdown, Joey Riddick. One of the best drives all season to start this game. What a roller coaster ride, man. This is the exact same offense that in last year's preseason I said, okay, I can't call an offense in this game. I have not touched the playbook since. And now it's doing this for us. Those traits, man, those coach abilities, we're ruining everything. Keyshawn Boyd, 26-year-old quarterback, 6th NFL season. 16 touchdowns on the year to just 4 interceptions. And we're going to have our hands full out there, because even if Hayes is taking care of Rodriguez, and here's one dump to Trey McBride, tackled by Chris Leonard, you're still going to see Hitchens deal with Marvin Harrison Jr. A bunch at the top for Arizona. And here is Boyd. Knocked down Jalen Phillips. Third down and 6. Boyd to the near side. It's Marvin Harrison. First down. Running right. Big hole opening up here. A broken tackle in the secondary. Calvin Hitchens, man, he's missed a lot of tackles. He's been picked on a bit in coverage. The number 3 picks having a tough learning experience this year. Here's a run to the right. Andrade sniffs it out. Empty for Boyd. Third down. Throws outside again. And that time they got Rodriguez on Hitchens. And this is in one-on-one coverage, too. Man-to-man. And look at how much respect he gives them here. Playing way over the top. Hitchens now moving to the top of the screen here. 3rd and 5. Boyd pressured, and who's there again? Jalen Phillips. Steelers ball again. How do you follow up a perfect opening possession? Well, this time Mickens has trouble getting through the line. We detach Antoine Westbrook. He's now in the slot. 3rd down and 4. That's Riddick, and he's got enough. Deep drop now. McLeod for Riddick, wide open. Reaching for the first down. Running to the outside. Mickens makes a man miss in the open field. Another Steeler first down. Deep drop from McLeod. And hits the short throw. Michael Mayer getting the most out of that. Out goes Mickens. It's floated his way. And Sean Mickens is a yard shy. Steelers going to play it safe here on 4th and 1. And the kick is good. Here's Arizona now. They're into Steeler territory. Bubble screen. Nice play, Calvin Hitchens. 4 on the rush. Chased, and Boyd fires wide open. He bounces right off and scores. Touchdown, Arizona. Jalen Waddle in the desert. Look at all the space out there he finds. And you've got to make the tackle, Bernal. But he whiffs again. What the heck just happened? We punted the ball to Arizona, and it was a punt return touchdown. Marco Rodriguez. We might not see another punt return touchdown the entire remainder of the series. And it just flipped this game. Down 7. McLeod off the fake, drops it off. That was our ugliest play in a while. 3rd down and 8. McLeod over the middle. This will be shy of the marker now. As Mike Tomlin's defense forces a 4th and 2, we leave the offense on. Here's McLeod. Under pressure and sacked. That's DeMarcus Flemings. And he got the better of Glaze over at right tackle. We were able to force a 3-and-out and then threw a pick to Ernest Jones. Arizona lining up here on a 3rd and 1. That's a full yard to go, and Boyd gets them the yard. So we got out to a great start. But Arizona's come back. They got the big punt return touchdown. Trying to extend the lead. They flip it out into the flat and gain 7. Right through the middle. That is a blitzing Chris Leonard. They just couldn't pick him up. That's a drive ender. 27-yard pass there to Sean Mickens. Doesn't have too many of those. We have some work to do here in the second half. Trailing by 10 and running Morant straight ahead. He'll get 1. So since that opening possession, just 3 points. They're going to jam the receivers on the outside. McLeod, short. And they just keep everything here boxed up. 3rd down now. McLeod in trouble, and Glaze cannot handle Flemings. Chad Baskett got into the game and immediately gets hit with a big penalty. Not on the field here. Not sure why he started the drive in the game at all. There goes Harrison to the top, followed by Hitchens, and flying in, we got Barber and company. Defense really has to play well now. I mean, the offense needs time to get their act together. 3rd and 5, we blitz Boyd, and the pass is caught, but not much there for McBride. Pittsburgh now backed up as they start this drive. And they'll run it with Mickens here. He gets a crease. Now across the 20, a 21-yard jump start. I think we just got to keep Flemings from taking over this game. He's already ended a couple possessions of ours. And here is McLeod. He fires over the middle. Joey Riddick hauls in a first down grab. McLeod is now 20 for 22 passing. You'd think with that efficiency we'd have more than 2 scoring drives. But here's a run past Flemings. It is Mickens with first down yardage. We've seen him go for 100 yards. I want to say 3 times. Close to a 4th already. Trying to add on to it. Good job, Michael Mayer. And Mickens gets 8 more. Handoff. Riddick, no. Thought we might have a chance on that one. We lose 2, and it's 3rd down. Got to think, too, it'll be 4-down territory. And holding up long enough, it's lobbed right to Martinez. Running with Mickens, finds some space, straight up the middle, and breaks into the end zone. We don't see that first defender often make the play. He's so shifty and with subtle moves just finds a way around defenders, forcing missed tackles. Sean Mickens is better than I really ever imagined him being. Remember when I selected him, he only had normal development. He was an interesting developmental running back. And then that first training camp, he got the dev trait, which remains the only time I've ever gotten the dev trait upgrade in a training camp drill. 20-17. Should be a good finish to this one. A lot on the line. Our win streak. Of course, we have a lot of work to do in this division. Nice grab made by Jalen Waddle. Taking some of the attention away from Marco Rodriguez. He's at the top of the screen right now, across from Hitchens. And they run Benson. He does not have the same success that Mickens was. Play action, Boyd, wide open, uncovering. How do we get Rodriguez versus Zach Anderson? I don't want that. 4-man rush, Boyd, trouble. Oh, Phillips went down and he throws incomplete. I thought Jalen Phillips had another sack there. Empty. Time. Boyd incomplete. Hitchens breaks it up. That time guarding Jalen Waddle. 3rd down and 10. They put Rodriguez inside. Boyd floating. McBride. And thankfully Hitchens was out there because Anderson couldn't cover him. We forced the field goal try for Arizona, and they now lead by 6 points. I'm also going to make a move at safety. Seeing how much we're getting the safeties in man-to-man coverage right now, I think I want Basket in the game over Zach Anderson. He might not be as good in zone coverage, but he's a better tackler, and he is better if he does have to go man up a receiver. Trailing by 6. Late game Marquise McLeod hands off to Mickens, and he goes nowhere. Does have 111 yards now on the day. Handling the rush just fine and knocked down by Will Johnson. Really tight coverage. Opportunity for Arizona on 3rd and 10. McLeod with time. It's caught. Spinning away. It's Riddick to the 47. Now Mickens straight ahead. Big lane opened up. Elijah Vera Tucker there, a good block. Morant checks in, and he will rumble ahead, getting 4. And now it's back to Mickens, straight ahead. And he's not going down without a fight. Stick with the run game here. Mickens up and lost the ball, but the Steelers recover. He was hurtling over a downed Cardinal and got hit in midair. DJ Glaze recovers the fumble. And now Zion Morris checks in. He's going to carry. Heading to the outside. He's run down. 11 yards away. Handoff Mickens. And he gets only a few this time. And that is Justin Guerrero down for the Steelers. So you have Nick Watson now in the game at the top. 3rd down and goal. McLeod throws. Wide open. Touchdown, Antoine Westbrook. And we have a chance to take the lead. These quarterbacks are putting on a pretty good show today, and we're seeing just how unguardable some of these players can be at times. 7 minutes to go, and it's 23-24. Chad Baskett is here. Does number 39 have a way of making an impact in this game? It's dumped off, and the tackle's made. Not much. He actually lost one. Short drop. Boyd. Not much here, and we're holding on, not letting Rodriguez get away. Oh, boy. I'd be calling a timeout right here. Here is 3rd and 9. Over the middle. Broken up on the play. Jalen Phillips, who dropped into coverage, laid the hit on Marco Rodriguez. I saw he had a safety over the top of him there. It wasn't man coverage, but I was a little nervous. And that's a 3 and out. Still plenty of time to go. Big drive coming up, and good to see Guerrero is in the game. McLeod throws short, and that is Watson in the game, and he's got 9. He's gotten a few chances rotating in, whatever, and he's made the most of them. He's looked good this year. We're going to run now with Sean Mickens. We are just gashing this defense, wearing them out. It seems every carry of his finds at least that 2nd level. He could be looking at a career high in carries, too, in this game. 4 and change left to go. McLeod stands in. Watson makes the catch again. What I tell you, Nick Watson, he's just making plays for us. Maybe Guerrero isn't doing that well, or maybe it's a wear and tear thing here. This is swung out. Here's Mickens with room ahead of him, down to the 16. Because I do have wear and tear sliders set up for the wide receiver spot, but I'm guessing that doesn't, change anything at punt returner. Morant broke a tackle, but you can see, when he comes into the game for Mickens, there's a significant drop-off in what's possible. 3rd down. Arizona trying to keep this a 1-score game. And Mickens doesn't get anything. Not a huge fan of that. I'd like us to stick with our pass. So we bring on the kicking team. And this kick is good. 27-23. Can the defense protect this 4-point lead? Arizona at the 25. Starts with Boyd. A short throw to McBride. And the tackle's made by Hitchens. He dumps it off again. McBride has the 1st down. Pressure almost ended that play. It's thrown away by Boyd. Felt Andrade. 3rd down and 10. It's a 4-man rush. Boyd, he's going to look long. Deep down the field. It's incomplete. Rodriguez guarded by Hayes. We got pass interference on the offense. Decline that. 4th and 10. And they had flagged McBride there. 4th down, Boyd gets it away. A jump ball. Incomplete. Calvin Hitchens. Did he get a hand on that one now? He's looking for Marvin Harrison this time. And let's see. That's good coverage either way, and I think he does get a hand on it. Calvin Hitchens with a big play here in a critical moment. Arizona has 2 timeouts remaining. We'll see if they can touch the ball again. Steelers take over. We're running. Sean Mickens. Not much. Inside and fighting through contact again. Mickens. Arizona out of timeouts. Nathan McKee could be set up for a field goal here, as we're going to throw it. This is risky, but wide open Westbrook, and that is going to do it. The Pittsburgh Steelers continue to find ways to win. They come back from trailing by 10. The defense plays well on those last couple possessions. 27-23. We are victorious again. And Pittsburgh is now 7-3 through 10 weeks. It's some of the most fun I've had in this series, seeing this team finally reach its potential and play some very entertaining games. You know, I've loved doing these slow sim series because I think legitimately, like, we get great games to watch. Marquise McLeod just went 27 for 30, 308 yards. He's just not missing. Sean Mickens, 28 carries, 171 yards. That was a phenomenal game. DeMarcus Flemings had a couple big plays. DJ Glaze, you know, gave up a couple sacks and some TFLs, but helped us in the running game for sure. And after all these seasons where I've only spent a few episodes on them, it's fun to have one that is actually worth slowing down to see more of what's happening, to have the chance to actually talk about different stories. You know, we aren't talking about the quarterback and offensive line much right now. We are when they're playing well, of course, but just trying to see this defense. And I think today was a big step in the right direction. Next time, we are going to get the Baltimore Ravens again. A chance for us to show how far we've come here in these last couple weeks and that we can be the top dogs in the AFC North. Cincinnati and Cleveland stumbled today, and we are now one of 4 teams in the AFC, actually 5 teams, to have 7 or more victories. Jacksonville's currently the number 1 team at 9-1. But I'm having a blast with this year. Marquise McLeod looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league. He's only taken 22 sacks this season, looking like a career low. 308 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, he took 26 sacks last year and he played, like 5 games? Sean Mickens with 984 yards. He's pretty close. So 98.4 over a 17-game season. If he plays every game, that's 1,672 yards. He's on pace to reach his goal. In the air, Nick Martinez, 781 yards on 60 catches. The 4 big receivers we have all continue to do a really good job and are thankfully staying healthy. Chris Leonard, Manu Andrade, they've been excellent. And the secondary, you know, they're hit or miss at times, but Hayes made big plays. Hitchens had a big break up there against Harrison. And we're going to have to see this safety spot then, how I look to close the year. Anderson, I think, he has a very narrow skill set. He has good zone coverage, but you ask him to get out of that box, and he struggles. And safeties just often have to wear more than one hat. And that's where I wonder if Chad Baskett could be a better overall player, even if his zone coverage is lower. Because I also wonder if his man coverage is good enough to really be an upgrade. This team now has a top 10 scoring offense, passing game, and running game. And the defensive, numbers got much better today. 22 points per game allowed, and now 29th against the pass. We'll see if the win streak can continue next time against the Ravens. They were the last team that was able to defeat us. And since that game, we have become one of the hottest teams in the league. There are 3 currently on 6-game winning streaks. That's all for today, everybody. Thank you all for watching and supporting the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise rebuild. Can't wait to see more of what's been the most fun season to this point. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.